Welcome back, everyone. In the previous episode, Uncle Bob had visited Herbivore Island and managed to snag himself a Megalodon and a Pteranodon. So once he gets to base, he introduces his two Pteranodons and they get to get him an egg. And soon he has a baby Pteranodon. Then he goes out to try and scout for more recruits as usual, and as usual, their levels are laughable. So Uncle Bob decides to change his plans and head out to the snow biome, and that's where he meets this walking mountain. Yeah, he's gonna just stay away from it for now. And while going up the mountain, he happens to run into this. Yes, the island's biggest carnivore. It's just sitting here AFK on the mountain, I guess. So Uncle Bob takes a break on top of the mountain and then admires the beautiful scenery around him. In this episode, however, Uncle Bob plans to retrieve a few more artifacts. If he can't find any recruits, then he'll, spend his time wisely just grabbing the ice artifact, the artifact of the Sky Lord, to be precise. And then he looks at these mammoths and their levels are once again just the worst they can be, so he takes it out on them and sends them back to the lobby in the hopes that better dinosaurs can spawn. But all his exploration is fruitless because everything he spots is just below level 25. Even a trip to the hidden lake doesn't help. The beavers have mounted sentries to guard their stash. And so he heads to Carnivore Island to look for Rexes. Instead, he just finds this blue drop that contains absolutely nothing. And then another yellow drop that contains a fabricated crystal. And once again, he returns to Hidden Lake and the sentry is still there, so he returns to base and does some daddy duties, which include, his baby Pteranodon and mating his Rexes. And once again, he's off to see what he can find. But he spots this ring purple drop, and when he opens it, he finds, nothing of use to him. However, a few seconds later, he does find something of use to him, so he makes a trap, the usual, and shoots the bear. And this time, the bear does not beeline the RG, and so he successfully puts the billboards around it and traps it. And then he proceeds to start tranking it. And that's when an Alpha Raptor decides to show up to the party uninvited. So Uncle Bob gets on the RG and prepares to do some bouncer duties. After a few minutes of dunking on its head, he proceeds to evict that man from the premises and show that there can only be one alpha in this island. However, while he's distracted, a bigger nuisance shows up and attacks the bear. And try as he might, Uncle Bob could not save the bear, so he just calls it a night. The next morning, Uncle Bob heads off to the snow biome, this time to find the smaller ice cave. Upon arriving there, he places a sleeping bag because he might die, and then he grabs his pike and with his otter as moral support, he just heads off into the cave. However, as the caves on single player always are, he completely empty. All the dinos have gone to get a tan or something. They're tired of the cold. So a few moments of sauntering around the cave. It's very easy to get lost in there, but you can just skip all that by bringing a grapple. And when Uncle Bob tries to return the way he came, he finds out he can't, so he makes an extremely fishy jump. but he survives. That jump can insta-kill you if you miss, so just be very careful in this cave. Even when it spawns nothing, there's cracks in the ice that will just kill you. However, Uncle Bob is out safe and sound, and yeah, when he goes to check on the artifacts for the monkey, he finds out he doesn't have any of them. And then while exploring the redwoods for another beer, well, you won't believe it, but Uncle Bob was ganged up by microraptors, and James the Otter is no longer with us. However, he has a baby megatherium and returns to daddy duties. At night, he goes to check out a yellow ring drop in the swamps, and I bet anybody can guess what's about to happen. Yup, it's giant mosquito time. The rhino does not want me getting that drop, but sure enough, the RG takes care of it. And when I open the drop, it was totally worthless. I nearly lost my RG to that rhino for chitin blueprints, and the next drop was just as bad. It's like, what the hell is going on? But on his way back, he spots this magnificent Rex just disturbing the locals on the volcano, and so he does the right thing and stands on a ledge and shoots at it. But the man is an experienced wall climber, and he gets on the ledge, so Uncle Bob just flies off to a higher ledge and repeats the process. Rexes take a lot of trank arrows, so after like 30 minutes of shooting this man and jumping, he finally falls asleep. So Uncle Bob returns to base and takes out his stone farmer for a couple of stone walls, because in the later part of this video, Uncle Bob will be attempting to tame one of those disgustingly annoying mosquitoes. So it's the usual. He gets stone with the doed and wood with berry mecha, and then he proceeds to place these giant dinosaur gates. And now it's time to kite a bug. Eventually, the RG is legendary, kites that man into the trap and then places the gate. And then Uncle Bob remembers, of course, that he has a Rex on the mountain and has to go feed it before it wakes up. So here he is on the mountain, and a few munchies later, that Rex is his. Mamma mia. But he forgot cryopods, so he has to get his PT and go back to the mountain to get the Rex back. And this whole time, that measly little bug is in the trap. However, taming that thing is a very, very different process to what Uncle Bob has been doing this entire playthrough. So it requires more preparation than just look at that. Uncle Bob has never seen a bionic flying creature. But he gathers some obsidian because he wants to make a pump shotty for that bug. Lands and crafts his pump shotty, it's time to do some bug repelling. When that bug is low enough, you have to let it impregnate one of your tames with a vile evil baby. But you can only do it when the bug is less than 10% health. That's why Uncle Bob keeps spying on it to check the health. Eventually it's low, and Uncle Bob opens the gates to walk the Rex in there, but it just keeps attacking the Rex. It doesn't lay any babies. And while Uncle Bob tries to close the gate, he accidentally nips at it. And so off he goes to the swamp. It's a good thing he lives right across from it, and Soon enough, you better believe it, he finds another bug. They're not too difficult to find. They all want to kill Bob. And traps it. This time he intends to do things a bit different. So he lets the Rex go at the bug on its own and tries to reduce its health before doing anything else. Then he shoots it once and it just dies. These bugs are just... The next day, Uncle Bob finds this 145 Rex to console him for that nasty bug business. And then he starts shooting at it, but like you know, Rexes take forever to knock out. So this is just going to be a full montage of Uncle Bob shooting at a Rex. Eventually, he even runs out of trank darts and has to resort to shooting with trank arrows. But either way, Uncle Bob follows this man until eventually he falls asleep. He has another baby waiting for him back home, and it's full-time daddy duties. He runs over to the center cave to find the world's greatest organic fertilizer producer, and then he takes him back to base and prepares him for his life of making organic fertilizer. The next day, however, this is going to be shocking people. I don't know how to explain this, but Uncle Bob wakes up on the beach with all his items intact, and he's level 105, but it's day one. It's day one. This is beyond. This bug has, I don't know what it is. I have submitted tickets to support, and they haven't gotten back to me. So I ran all the way back to where my base was, and there was nothing there. No dinos, no base. I still have all my engrams. I have the full, log of everything I did right from day one, taming every single thing. I have a full log of everything, but there is nothing to show for it because all of a sudden it's day one again. So I know this is not how anyone expected this to go. I am more disappointed than anyone else.